I understand that this is the new market for quarterbacks. I really do. I don't sit here and pocket watch because I'm hating. I always say we're in the skinny leg gene era of sports. You know, we got a lot of unproven players getting spoiled with riches. Quarterbacks are coming to the league with their fingernails painted. Guys are wearing pearl necklaces on the field. There's a lot of zest in football. But here we go. Jordan Love, $200 million after one good season is crazy. Brett Favre didn't make $200 million in his whole career.
Bruh.
And he at least gave you a championship and a couple of MVPs. One good start. Y'all saw everything y'all needed to see because he beat the Cowboys? $200 million? At least you can make the argument for Tua, right? Mr. Concussion Protocol himself getting his kind of deal. At least he's played a couple of years. What is this? What was that? His third year as a starter? Second year as a starter? At least he got some years under his belt. Green Bay just needed to see 1 year. And that was enough to pay him more than Rodgers and Favre combined. Unbelievable. But we're going to get into microphone diving into this shit because, bro, do these players have to earn their checks anymore? One solid season, a wild card playoff win. You went home the next round. Ain't like he gave you a chip, but you willing to invest $200 million on him. Tell me when I finally have a kid. First two words, hut.
The wait is over.
The Packers and Jordan Love have agreed to a contract extension,
making him the highest paid quarterback in NFL history.
Now that didn't take very long, did it? Very shortly after Tua Tagovailoa got his contract extension from the Miami Dolphins, the Green Bay Packers announced that they were going to do the unthinkable, something that you would never imagine happening, and something that we really didn't expect. So before we get to the content, we are still giving away copies of College Football 25. All you have to do to enter is just follow one of my giveaways in the description down below. And now that we got all of that out of the way, work! One of the biggest questions general managers get asked whenever it comes to the NFL draft is why don't they just simply follow what the Kansas City Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes in regards to quarterback succession? And it's a very fair question. Rarely do you ever see quarterbacks drafting a QB in the first round of the NFL draft, only to have him sit back for a year, learn the nuances of the offense that he's going to take part in, and then step in a year later and, well, win NFL MVP. Because that's totally how it's supposed to work. Okay, I don't think benching your rookie QB for a year necessarily means that he's gonna turn into Patrick Mahomes, but it's not a flawed plan at all whatsoever. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals did it following the drafting of Carson Palmer in the 2003 NFL draft, had him sit behind John Kitna for a season before they decided to mismanage Carson Palmer's career. But for all
Green Bay did that shit with Rodgers, so he better include that because Rodgers ended up winning an MVP not too far after sitting out the first, 3 years of his career?
the success stories, you also hear the stories that weren't successful. The San Francisco 49ers gave up 2 first-round picks to move up to the number 3 overall pick in the 2021 NFL draft, a draft that was supposed to be deep at the quarterback position. And a lot of those players were placed in bad situations. But we know what would happen with Trey Lance. Trey Lance took way too long to develop for the San Francisco 49ers, and, well, they shipped him to the Dallas Cowboys for peanuts on the dollar. But probably the most extreme example of this has to do with the Green Bay Packers. And the thing is, the first time the Packers did this, they kind of lucked into it. Drafting Aaron Rodgers wasn't part of their plan going into the 2005 NFL draft. It just simply wasn't. People tend to forget, but Aaron Rodgers was in the mix to be selected number 1 overall by the San Francisco 49ers.
With Alex Smith and the 49ers went with. Yo, that draft was the craziest thing to me because I can still remember all the quarterbacks that were invited to attend the ceremony. You typically go there if you're a top 10 pick, top 15. You don't want to not make it to the top 15 where you're just sitting in that big waiting area with the cameras on you, draft night. That was Aaron Rodgers. The 49ers took Alex Smith, which kind of shocked everyone. At that time, everybody kept on saying, based off the prototype, Rodgers was the much better quarterback. But the 49ers chose Alex Smith. You know, so the Green Bay, I think they took him like 28. They lucked up. I think they had a draft before Rodgers, if I'm not mistaken.
Niners, but he plummeted on draft day all the way to the 24th pick in the NFL draft. At that point, the Packers figured, okay, he was going to go number 1. We might as well pick him, and the rest is history. But even then, the Green Bay Packers had Brett Favre, and
these guys don't know what they be doing, bro.
Well,
draft
really
night, they don't know what they're doing.
Their succession plan yet, but that's what they did. Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for 3 seasons before finally taking the reins as the starter. And to be honest, it was the perfect thing for him. I am of the firm belief that if Aaron Rodgers started for the Green Bay Packers right away, or started for any team right away, he would have been a colossal draft bust. Nothing against this hypothetical version of Aaron Rodgers, but if you take a look at his mechanics coming out of Cal and his throwing motion, you can just tell that he would have been doomed from the start. It was these 3 years that really helped Aaron Rodgers become the player that he became. But there's a huge caveat with this methodology. You see, Aaron Rodgers started throughout the 2008 season, and then he signed a 6-year, $65 million contract extension through the 2014 season. To give you an idea, that was good enough to make Aaron Rodgers the 4th highest paid QB in the NFL, behind Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Carson Palmer. This is just after 1 full season of starting, and even then, he led the Green Bay Packers to a 6-10 record. The caveat with developing your quarterback of the future is the fact that you don't get the luxury of having him on a rookie scale contract. You have to pay him right away, and typically, your greatest championship window happens to come when you draft quarterbacks that are already NFL ready and surround them with a plethora of talent. I mean, that's what the Miami Dolphins did with Tua by trading for Tyreek Hill. That's what the Philadelphia Eagles did with Jalen Hurts when they traded for AJ Brown. That's what the Arizona Cardinals did for Kyler Murray when they robbed the Houston Texans of DeAndre Hopkins. Typically, whenever a quarterback's on a rookie scale contract,
David Johnson for Hopkins is retarded
and hope he can make a run for a Super Bowl. But in the case of the Green Bay Packers, they don't really like to do that. They like to invest all of their resources in one guy, in one project, give him maximum time to develop to his fullest capability, have this project, watch a Hall of Famer prepare for 3 seasons, and then plug him in. And in the case of Jordan Love, they literally did the same thing as they did with Aaron Rodgers, although it was slightly different. Aaron Rodgers was an opportunity that was too good to be true. It was an opportunity that you just couldn't refuse. Jordan Love was a prototypical project that the Packers selected because they just felt like it was time. And in the 2023 season, while Jordan Love definitely had a bumpy start to his career, he ended it remarkably. His regular season stats included 32 touchdowns and 11 interceptions, throwing for over 4,000 passing yards and a 64% completion percentage. He absolutely decimated the number 2 seeded Dallas Cowboys, who haven't lost at home at the time at all whatsoever.
Great season, by the way. 32 touchdowns, 11 picks for a kid like Jordan Love, over 4,000 passing yards. Pretty good.
But in Dallas Cowboys defense,
all honesty, I think the main thing is we was burned out, man. Long season.
Jordan Love threw for 272 passing yards and 3 touchdowns
first round of the playoffs,
the best defenses in the NFL, becoming the first 7th seed to win a playoff game. And he became really close to defeating the San Francisco 49ers. But unfortunately, he threw 2 interceptions. One of them was a game-sealing pick against the 49ers, and the Packers would lose 24-21. But there is no question about it. There's tremendous amount of faith in Jordan Love's ability as a quarterback, but he only played 1 season as the Green Bay Packers QB, and his contract expired. So there's this huge question as to how much Jordan Love is truly worth. Now, it seems like there are teams that very much buy into the way the Packers are doing things to a ridiculous degree. I mean, with all due respect, I think the way the Atlanta Falcons are trying to do things is even more bizarre. Going out and paying Kirk Cousins top 10 QB money, and then drafting Michael Penix Jr., who's 24 years old, at the 8th overall pick in the NFL draft is absolutely insane, in my opinion, because Michael Penix Jr. is also getting paid significantly more than Jordan Love was getting paid as a rookie. And by the time Michael Penix Jr. is 3 seasons into his NFL career, he's gonna be 27 years old. To give you an idea, Michael Penix is 24 right now. Jordan Love is 25. So I mean, who knows? Maybe Michael Penix Jr. turns into Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. I mean, who are we to hate on this? But it just goes to show that the Jordan Love effect is definitely being felt around the NFL. And the Green Bay Packers made their decision in regards to his valuation very shortly after his draft classmate, Tua Tagovailoa, who, by the way, has thrown for 12,639 passing yards in his career, 81 touchdowns, and 34 interceptions, compared to Jordan Jordan Love's 4,765 passing yards, 35 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions throughout his career, we found out that Jordan Love signed a 4-year, $220 million contract with the Green Bay Packers. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, according to Adam Schefter, Jordan Love and the Packers have agreed to a 4-year, $220 million contract that makes him the highest paid QB in NFL history. He also gets a record 70.
Like, bro, what are we, like, do we hear the conversations that's happening right now? These are video game numbers. Like, why am I living in the world? And this is no knock on Jordan Love at all, but like, I'm really living in a sports world where Jordan Love is the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League after one good season. Like, what? Don't tell me there's no such thing as quarterback privilege. What is that? Off of one good season. And it's no knock. Maybe he lives up to it. Probably not. No, bro.
$5 million signing bonus plus $155 million in new full guarantees. Deal negotiated by David Mulugeta and Andrew Kessler of Athletes First. I always have made this joke about Jordan Love and like at a specific point about Trey Lance, saying that these two just live the life, getting to sit back, develop properly. In Jordan Love's case, he got to watch a Hall of Fame QB prepare for the game for 3 years straight while he's getting paid millions of dollars to do so. Then Jordan Love comes in fully prepared, dominates first season, then becomes the highest paid QB in the NFL. Just like that. He gets paid just as much as Joe Burrow. He gets paid just as much as Trevor Lawrence. And Adam Schefter even mentions this. From 1992 until the foreseeable future, the Packers have transitioned from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers and now to Jordan Love. They now have him for another 5 seasons. The Packers are the NFL model for quarterback consistency, 32 years and counting. So Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence, and Joe Burrow are all making the same amount of money, followed by Tua, followed by Jared Goff, then Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, and man, that Jalen Hurts contract, man, we don't talk.
The going rate for quarterbacks is 55 million a season. We saw early in the video that Rodgers, when he first became a starter, signed a 6-year, $64 million deal, and he was amongst the top 3 highest paid. 3 years, 65. These guys are making 55 in 1 year. Hey, man.
And Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, and man, that Jalen Hurts contract, man, we don't talk about it enough, but it's aging pretty well. It's set to kick in this year, and he's the 8th highest paid QB in the NFL. So what do I think about this deal? Look, I think there's no question about it. The Green Bay Packers are a model for quarterback consistency in the NFL. And one of the hardest things to do in the NFL is to find a franchise QB. Now, there is a huge caveat to the way the Packers have developed quarterbacks. Although they're able to fully develop really good QBs throughout NFL history, between Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, and Brett Favre in these 32 years, they were only able to get 2 Super Bowls out of it, which again is a significant amount. But as a Dallas Cowboy fan, for once I could say this, we have more Super Bowls during that time frame, baby. Let's go!
This year's our year. We know exactly what we're doing. Yeah!
Fuck, Dak Prescott hasn't been paid yet, has he?
Is that I feel like when you look at cap, you need to have a feel of where the revenue is going to be down the road. I feel like I know better than anybody living. I've got a feel for what the revenue is going to be 4, 5, 6 years from now than anybody living. I've spent all this time doing that, and I understand it. And if you don't understand what the revenue is going to be, then you can't look ahead and see what the gap is going to be. And so it is an art almost about how to look ahead. We have presumed that revenue goes up, and that's one of the things that's given in these contracts, that the revenue goes up. Well, it went down in coaching. Okay. And am I optimistic? The most I've ever been. But we got one
Jerry's always optimistic.
That could dramatically reduce revenues.
Is that why you're comfortable waiting?
That's exactly right. But what I'm really trying to tell everybody is, frankly, I've got a better feel, I think, than anybody, because I have a sense of what revenues might be for the whole league 4, 5, 6 years from now. And so that
Definition of saying a lot without saying much.
optimistic, then you must know that I think it's pretty good. If you see me a little cautious, you must know that I'm being cautious. I mean, I'm quick to be repeated. But I didn't add that the other day, but I'm the best at looking around corners. Now, I don't know what that is. But as far as body language and instincts, I'm better than anybody.
Are you optimistic now, or are you being cautious?
Both.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. I don't know what the hell the Cowboys are doing, sitting back, waiting as long as possible to make sure that Dak Prescott could get as much money as humanly possible. It's kind of funny because Tua had to hold out, and there was a huge question mark about Jordan Love, but in Dak Prescott's case, he doesn't even need to hold out. He's playing it so cool because he knows that the Cowboys really don't have a choice but to pay him. How much he's gonna get paid is a different conversation. I personally think he's gonna get to 60 million, but at the end of the day, I have no idea what the Cowboys are doing by waiting this long. At the end of the day, what do I think about this contract for Jordan Love? In my opinion, the sooner you pay your quarterback, the better. I mean, what were you gonna do? Wait another full season for Jordan Love to show you that he's a good quarterback and then end up paying him $60 million a year annually next year? The sooner you pay your players, the better, which is why it's absolute pain being a Dallas Cowboy fan, because we have CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott that need to get paid. And at this point, bro, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be shocked if Brock Purdy got a contract extension before Dak did. Look, I have a whole video on the Dak Prescott contract.
That's gonna be the going rate for quarterbacks like Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, who's been getting paid in food stamps the past couple of years. He's about to walk into 250 mil minimum at this point. If Jordan Love could demand or get that kind of deal, imagine a quarterback that's led a team to 2 NFC title games and the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy's about to be rich. But yeah, Cowboys, I don't know what Jerry's waiting on, bro, because the more deals you see getting signed, the bigger the check you're going to have to cash for Dak Prescott. Honestly, Dak is not a 6. I mean, you're worth what someone is willing to pay for you, right? Like that's what it ultimately comes down to. Whether or not I believe he's worth it is irrelevant, but that's going to be the going rate for Dak Prescott, and that man has not given you a championship, so the fact that y'all waiting this long is hysterical, because it's going to destroy your team down the road in terms of salary cap and building a roster. But listen, man, I just react to shit. I mean, I just react to stuff. I don't know. What do I know, man? I'm all the way back here in the nosebleeds. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm gonna highlight you guys. This was the Green Bay Packers did Unthinkable. Oh yeah, I almost forgot I was reacting to some Green Bay Packers shit. Good for Jordan Love. Got the money that he won. He got the money he deserved after one season. Will he live up to it? It's kind of irrelevant. These players get paid millions to not win a championship, so I'm not gonna put championship aspirations on him. He's already good. 133 mil, regardless if I suck or not. That's what you gotta give me. Congrats to that boy. I'm gonna holler at you guys next video, bro. What a time to be alive. Y'all gonna have to pay Dak $60 million to throw pick sixes against Green Bay in the first round of the playoffs.